yourself. Yeah, good.
Hi, Dhirajana. Thank you so much for inviting me to the studio. And to give intro of myself, I'm Satyanarayana Reddy. I was born and brought up in Andhra Pradesh, and I completed my education, everything in Andhra Pradesh only, like till fifth class in Nellore, and thereafter in Kadapa till 10th standard. Then intermediate and graduation in Vijayawada. Then later moved to the Bangalore for work, and now settled in Vizag for the time being, as I'm working at the moment with the United India Insurance Company Limited. So before United India, I used to work in Bangalore. I worked for you know companies like Tech Systems, Barrier Break, and Inklaza, which is a enterprise arm of Enable India in the area of accessibility and that related disability inclusion.
Great, great. Don't mind, Satya, like little louder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Now
Yeah,
does that sound fine?
yeah, good,
Yeah,
good, good enough. So, before going to different questions, can you tell about our introduction? How do you know me? And I still remember the first call I spoke to you
yeah, yeah.
long ago.
It's
Yes, yes.
basically
I never seen you in person, but
yeah,
we met
yeah.
and
First
we
we
met
didn't see.
over.
Thereafter we met two times, like once
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Purple Fest and once in the Accessibility Symposium conducted this
exactly,
in
exactly.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
I
So
think it was in
can you tell me
2020.
how you get to know about me, or how do you
Yeah, yeah.
contacted me?
So basically, when I was doing the course at Enable India, I after my graduation to look for a job, I was doing that course, uh, employability course for persons with blindness. In that course there was a project given for us which is a work reality project, so wherein you have to approach few people, those who are working in different sectors. It can be corporate or public or government, no matter the job is, but you should have an interview with 15 people, and based on their experiences and all. So there was a format, because based on that format you should interview and you should understand. Basically the project aim is to give us an understanding of how the real work looks like, what the real works looks like. So that's where I actually, my sir, his name is Kumaraswamy, so he's a teacher to me in my school. So I spoke to him, then he gave your number. So I know the person named Dheeraj from Hyderabad. It's like this, like that. He just gave your number. He didn't tell anything about you. Then after that, I started talking to you, and in the first call itself, you told so many things which I was not aware of at that point, because I did not enter the workforce. I was just trying just getting started at that point of time, and it happened in 2021. I think in the month of I think it's in the month of September, I think so. So from then we have been regularly in touch with each other, talking on different topics, and that's how our journey.
Good, good. It's really good to say that, and you are very specific about month as well. But yeah, forever. I mean, what Satya said. I'm just repeating the thing. Enable India. It's an NGO. It is in Bangalore, so it helps us visually impaired blind to get employability courses, and there are many other courses as well. So one course is in that particular section. You need to have an task that you need to talk with an real working people who are having disabilities. Okay, you need to interview 15 people who are working real and having disabilities. That is the task given by the Enable India, and in that task, so we got to each other. We met each other in that task, and there are other tasks given by Enable India which helps visually impaired blind to navigate independently. So there are certain tasks. You need to go to certain bus stop and get something and get back to the Enable India Institute. So that's all there in Enable India. Yeah, it's in Bangalore, and there are other institutes for visually impaired and blinds for helping others. So yeah, Satya. So now, what are the tools you use, Satya, in daily life, like as you are completely blind since childhood, and what are the tools you used mostly, and what are the apps that benefits everyday life for you?
Yeah, at the moment, as we all know, the screen reader is the something that is a primary, tool that we use. It is an integral part of our life. And apart from screen reader, like basically I'm an iOS user. So before I used to use Android. So their talkback, they hear in voiceover in iOS, and NVIDIA JAWS in Windows environment, and same voiceover in Mac OS. So that's how we do. And apart from these tools, the tools that I use are Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is something, it's basically this app was started at I think 10 or 12 years ago, I think so. So basically what it does is it connects a person with blindness to the people, to the person who can see. Basically it has two sides. One side, people with blindness who may need assistance in finding something, some kind of things. There are situations where people with blindness may be alone, so may need some kind of visual assistance. So on the other side, this app has a volunteers who can see, So basically what these people with blindness can do is they can take a phone and use that app and click on a call volunteer. There will be an option to call the volunteer. The moment a user clicks, the app connects the blind person with person who can see. So then they can talk, and he can get certain kind of assistance. So that's how this app was started. And now the interesting part is that later they expanded into different segments. Like we can directly talk with some companies, like when we need customer support. Like the customer support also we can talk with by dialing a lot, but that's different. But here the point is that we can share our screen, so we can get assistance from, I mean, Microsoft, Google, or different companies. That's how they expanded. Now the interesting part that they implemented in that app is that we can directly, when we can, basically people with blindness cannot see the picture and they cannot visualize it, right? So as AI is now, the talk of the world. So they integrated AI into that application. You take up that picture, and the picture is analyzed by the AI built into that app, and it gives you the instantaneous description of what the image looks like, so that you can understand. You can read where menu, the restaurant menus, or you can read whatever is there, whatever you want to analyze. You just take out the picture and get it described by the app. So this is the one app that I use, and another app that I use is Seeing AI. This is also somewhat similar to that, but it's a document. It has different work. It doesn't. It gives you a description of the videos and images and documents. You can basically scan any document that is there that you want to analyze and get it read by that. And image also, now they have implemented the AI. So these are the basic apps that I use in addition to the primary all applications that we use. Like in India, we use Uber, all these things. They are used by everyone, but these are the specialized apps that came to my mind when you asked for this question.
Okay, great, great, Satya. And yeah, it's interesting, and we, as you said, Be My Eyes. So it has an option to directly call to the LinkedIn customer support, Google support, Apple support, and you have an interesting that you can call Etihad Airlines as well. You can book a flight ticket using that option in the Be My Eyes. You can go to Etihad Airlines. You can book a ticket as well. So that's how it was expanding, and
The interesting part in that feature is that there will be special help desk set up for persons with disabilities. Regularly, when we
disability.
call, we will be redirected to the someone who may not be aware of the needs of persons with disabilities. But through this app, if we get connected, all people who are, whom we will be connected are, trained to help people with disabilities. So that's an interesting
At
part.
least they have sensitization towards
Yeah,
disabilities,
yeah, yeah.
so that they can treat you well. Yeah,
Yes.
good, good. So yeah, and you said your education was in completely blind school, right? So
Yeah.
how far it is, and we conducted different workshops in different blind schools. So as we understand, they are all completely depend on audiobooks and Braille Telugu, not Braille even English. And when you are completely rely on audiobooks, so I asked one of the blind person to spell out talkback So he said like TAK, BK, something like that. So it's completely audio based learning. And when you see CPAC, there will be universal design learning paths, right? Like there will be multiple means of engagement, multiple means of representation. So my question to you is, in the education sectors, what are the challenges you faced when you were studying? Now, what needs to be improved from your side as you complete 10th standard? Because I'm talking about the school stage till from schooling from childhood to 10th class. So
Yeah.
that is thing. Yeah.
So it has been almost 10 years since I completed my 10th standard. Exactly, I passed out in 2016. So from first standard, the challenges that we faced are very different from the challenges, you know, the main problem that we faced was awareness. So even though there were many schools, they are meant for people with blindness, but they were completely, the methodology that they used was decades ago. It was a decades before. It's not ahead. Like that's how it was. Like mostly for the sometimes we depended on braille, and sometimes we used to rely on people who can see. There will in that school also there will be some people who can see, right? So we used to ask them. They used to read it aloud to us. So that's how we used to read. And sometimes we used to take. Most of the times we used to take a braille notes. Audio books were also very limited actually in the initial days of my schooling. And as situation became little bit better, by the time we I came to fifth standard. So there some people, like not many books, but some the class books used to be recorded in that time. It was not even CD. They used to record in your cassettes. Like the reels will be there, not tape recorder. So that's where they used to record. And by sixth standard and seventh standard, then we started getting daisy players, all these things. But mostly it was all about braille. It was all about braille. No matter how the situation, how, like they used to give lot of daisy players, and sometimes they used to give DVD players, because cassettes, the reel, like as the situation got improved, they also updated. But the main problem was that the information was very limited, because it has to be recorded or it has to be converted into the braille and given it to the people with blindness, right? So the information was very limited. So that's how we faced. And till by the time I completed 10th class. Yes, as you said, we were into the audio, and we used to get the syllabus recorded by a few people. Like I just wanted to mention an organization here. There is an organization called Vision Through Years. It's based out of Anantapur. So they used to record all the syllabuses from first standard, no, no, or third standard to the graduation level. The syllabus is same, right? Mostly syllabus is same. So they used to record it
Yeah. Yes.
for that level. So they used to send. We used to ask them when we call them. They used to take out of the address, and they used to post them through courier. So the courier, that's how we used to get. And intermediate also somehow did like this. But in the intermediate, the interesting thing happened that we were introduced to the computers. So that's when things started changing. Then in the graduation, it was all about reading through the computer, PDF files, and information has been exploded, because once we got access to the computer, then there is no limits for the information. That's how I feel. So this is how my journey happened.
Great. So, my question to you is, in the education stage till your 10th standard, will it be enough to teach subjects like maths, English, social, or it can also include like assistive technologies, disability rights, and disability etiquettes? Because I feel, the inclusive education happens after the 10th standard, right? Like before the 10th standard, you will be with your community people. Even if you are blind, you will be staying with your blind people, or if you are deaf, you will be staying with your deaf people in the school stage, right? But in the school stage, you need adaptation and the kind of energy you have to maintain. Only it will happen when you are with your community people. Let's say if school is inclusive, like you, a blind person went to a school with normal people, it should be like that, or it should be completely for visually impaired or blind people. Then after the school stage, it should be inclusive. So how, what is your opinion on it, or what is your thoughts on it?
Yeah, based on my experience, I would say inclusion should start from the start from the right the time you are child, like, because it all comes down to the expectations, right? Like we have to set the right expectations. When you put a person with blindness in a blind school, they will definitely not be exposed to the world outside of that school. Like we used to say in Telugu, nalu godala madhya, which means you are between and the four walls, so you don't know what is happening around the world. Like you will only come to know what is told by the teachers or people in the school. So I feel that inclusion should start from the time the children start going to the school, because you should be ready to compete with everyone irrespective of the disability and all. This is how I feel, because in my school I used to come as a first person, like in my I used to top the class. Hello.
Great, great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, got it.
I used
Yeah,
to top.
so
I used to top the school. But the thing is that who I used to compete with, I used to compete with my similar situation, right? So by
yes,
that,
yes.
after I completed my 10th standard, there is a situation that I have to compete with everyone. So at the end of the day, when you
Yeah,
are going to the job, when this is a world designed for, like, this is not the world designed especially for people with blindness. So inclusion should start right at the moment the kid goes to the school, and they should be put into the inclusion schools with some measures being implemented, like integrated schools or inclusive colleges or education. The inclusive education is very important, because I have seen some people, they became so much successful uh, because they come from inclusive schools, which means they
yeah, like me.
started competing with everyone. The limitations
Yeah, yeah,
were there, but despite the limitations, they started going with everyone, and you will also get exposed, right? And other people also will start understanding people with disabilities. If you put
yeah,
a blind people in one school, the others also do not understand the situation and the circumstances of a persons with disabilities. So you should cultivate the mindset among the society. For that, inclusive education is the best, I would say. But there should
yeah.
be some measures that should be implemented in every school.
Great, great. Myself, like I did not even went for special school. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
completely with you. So, yeah, I understand. And now, when is the right time to learn about different assistive technologies, different disabilities and disability rights, disability laws and policies? And you need to have as a person with disability, you need to have some etiquette in the society. Like you should not ask everything help for everybody, or you should not depend on certain things, or you should not go for the sympathy aspect. So all these things also we teach to a person with disability, so that he can be an independent in the society. So when is the right time to learn all those things?
Yeah, yeah. See, I will let me tell you that. See, first of all, we no need to teach any policies or any rights, something like that. It all starts how you treat others. Basically, this when in schools, or even in home, even at home, how you start, how you treat a person. There are two people. One is a person with disability, one is a person without disability. If you start treating both of them as equal, even at home and school, that the way they, first of all, they should feel that they are equal. The problem that comes to the persons with disabilities is that obviously many people, till the time they mature, or they understand the society, they feel that they are lesser than others. This is a mindset that has been imposed by the society or by the surroundings. So it, instead of teaching policies, rights and all, because kid will not understand what is RPWD Act, or what is American with Disabilities Act, all these things. It's all what they understand is how they are treated. So the treatment should start right from the childhood, so that by the time you start teaching what is the policy, what are our rights, they already start feeling that they are equal, they are not less than anyone, and they don't ask for sympathy. That is how we should teach. And assistive technology, yes, now the technology is an integral part of everyone's life, not just people with disabilities life. Everyone uses mobile, everyone uses computer. So obviously there are people in some schools, those who start coding at the age of 7. So for us, for persons with disabilities, literacy is equal to the digital literacy in 21st century. So persons with disabilities or persons with blindness should be given an opportunity to get exposed to the assistive technology right from the you know uh, day they start this going to the school. That's why by the time they become independent, they see basically we should be able to equip them, the students, that by the time they start coming to the fourth standard or fifth standard, they should be able to write exams on their own without depending on the scribe. Unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity. So that by the time
Yeah, yeah.
you start competing with everyone, you no need to depend on someone, right?
Exactly, exactly. And there are some schools as well, like Netra
Netra,
School
yeah.
in Hyderabad. Yeah, it gives you an independence and it helps you to learn through NVDA and write exams through NVDA itself. But
Yeah, but that starts in the schools at the from the college time. But that is also very
exactly,
difficult. So that's why you may have seen some people scoring as much as 98.5 or 95%, even in schools. How did they do this? Because they were exposed to technology. Now technology is very much available. It was not, you know previously there used to be a lot of passive. I mean, there was not. It was there was a crisis of affordability and availability of the assistive technology. Now it is slowly becoming affordable, so people should be given an opportunity right from the school days, not from the college days. So every school should learn. Even inclusive schools should start giving that opportunity. When someone with sight start writing exams or start taking notes on the paper. Similarly, people with disability blindness should be given an opportunity to take that notes or write that exam in computers. Even nowadays, even people who are able-bodied also are writing exams in computers, right?
yes, yes, yes. And we have almost 2,700 special schools in India, across in
Okay.
India, different states. So I think in all 2,700 schools, they are teaching different or which is not useful for us.
Mostly, and the treatment is also very different, right? Like,
Yes, yes. And
many schools
yeah,
are run
yeah,
by people wwho are not disabled people. Like
exactly,
basically,
exactly.
someone puts an NGO, they collect a donation, they take money from someone, charitable, those who are interested in doing charity, and they show these people as someone who is pitied, who is unfortunate, so that these people also start giving donation for punya or some people may genuinely give, but some people will give for punya. They don't understand, without understanding, without putting a accountability on the donor, on the people who are running these NGOs. They give money, so these people also start looting this money and taking money and giving something to the
Yeah.
people with disabilities.
I think that, money is not the thing
And,
which
and people with
any NGO.
disabilities also, what they start feeling is that, like, okay, someone gives dinner, someone gives lunch, let's say it like this. People with blindness also start feeling, right? This mindset
Yes,
is, this is not about it is not about money. It's about the treatment. Basically, when they are
yeah,
when these NGO runners, or when the the people those who are running schools approach the donors, they project these people as objects of charity, and these people also start feeling like this. They grow up like this.
eventually what happens is blind themselves also
Yeah.
become
If you see
they
the
look
trend,
for charity.
if you see the trend, many people, even after growing, even after understanding this, they ask, let's say, if they want job for us from some company, instead of pitching themselves as capable, having enough talent, they start with, sir, I'm blind, so if you give an opportunity, it would be good for me. I can also survive. They start speaking the language which doesn't add value to the someone who is giving job or someone who is helping for education also. See, at the end of the day, now we are living in the era where money has a value. It is a capitalistic
Yeah,
society where value is driven by the economics. So people with disabilities should be projected as someone who brings value to the country, to the value to the someone. At the end of the day, if I am talking to you, if I project you as someone who needs help, you may help for some time, but after some time you will start. You will definitely not think about us. But if I start showing you the value that I bring to you, because of the value that I bring, you will definitely, it will be sustainable, right, in the long run.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. So, and another question I have, you spoke about earlier that AI.
Yeah.
So generally, like 4 5 years ago, if I get the screenshot who was sending in WhatsApp, I might not be able to figure out what screenshot it is or what are the text written on the image. But now I can upload that image into different AI models and get the image description, and even right away I can use my voice over gestures to know that image description. So it's like it's not the one stop solution, but there are
How I
two
see
three
this, how
steps.
I this is that, 10 years ago when I started using these apps, if there is a text, they used to give the text. Let's say if there is a name, Dheeraj, and you write something, it used to give the text. If you put some image also, it used to describe something which is ambiguous. So actually 10 years ago also there were this kind of apps identifying colors, providing description of images. But the interesting part that AI brought is that context. It understand. So recently, I came across one cartoon in our organization, like where for a check-off
Okay.
exercise, our union, like one of the unions of our organization, put an image. So 10 years ago, if I have to get the description of image, it used to say there are like it used to say vaguely the people standing something like this. But this image, because of this AI, it showed the literally explained the cartoon. Like some associations are shouting, some associations are holding microphone and doing dharnas. But we approached Niti Aayog person. We discussed about the career growth of our company. Like this entire whole cartoon was described to me literally like someone who is my friend. In fact, it explained me more than better than the friends that I have. Like those who I go to every day. So this is this,
Yeah,
this, this
yeah.
is the change actually.
Yeah, in even JAWS also we have a JAWS
Picture
picture mode.
smart.
We can,
Yeah.
yeah, so picture smart, and also like so my question is AI, right? So we are seeing Meta Ray-Ban glasses and AI. So how do you see this AI is enabling accessibility as a person with disabilities, and how far it will help, and what are the things or what are the skills or what are actions need to be taken from people with disabilities in this evolving AI era?
Yeah, basically AI is all about understanding patterns of the data and and doing tasks accordingly, right? It's all about data. It's a programmed. It recognizes the pattern. That is what AI does. But when it comes to people
Yes.
with disabilities, yes, it is helping a lot. It is removing a lot of barriers which were once impossible to be broken. But now many people like AI is it is helping many people with disabilities to lead a dignified and to lead a more independent life. The problem that comes is that it has a it is a it,